Welcome to Let's Talk Jets Radio.
What's up, everybody? Tyson Roush, Let's Talk Jets Fan Series, Episode 8, with my good friend Dan from Howard Beach, Sicurello. What's up, man?
What's up, baby? Number 8. Damn, man, I love that number. That's what got me into liking the Jets. Like this guy right here. He was a number 8 right here. He was the guy right after Kenny O'Brien. My boy, freaking Brownie Nagel right here, baby.
How do you have a Brownie Nagel jersey? Holy shit.
We'll get to that.
or you could say Mark Purnell, I guess, but geez, that's terrible.
No. Browning Nagel is my guy, man. Dude, Come on. The Jets have always destroyed young quarterbacks. Let's say if we would have drafted Favre instead of Nagel, if Atlanta didn't, nobody would have ever even fathomed about how great Favre would have been. But Nagel, oh my God, Holmgren would have turned him into a stud.
So let's start from the beginning, Dan. First of all, it's really cool talking to you because I've been talking to you for years. You used to call into our show, and we used to argue of all kinds of chaos and shit. We go back a ways, man.
Oh, my God. Crazy, Tyson. I remember when I first got, any wind of your show was, I think it was either when Geno Smith was the quarterback. For the record, I despised Geno Smith. And
Right.
You knew that. The boys knew that.
Yep.
I hated him, but you guys, I don't know. You guys always gave him the benefit of the doubt.
Yep.
And I'm like, this guy sucks.
Yep.
He chucks interceptions one after another, and we would just get at it. Joe, Kevin, when he would pick up the phone, but it was fun times, man. So
we go back a ways, man. So let's start here. What made you a Jet fan?
Well, the thing is, my brother got me into it kind of inadvertently because we come from Argentina, Buenos Aires. So we're big time soccer fans. We're sick, dude. We sick. Like if we ever go watch a game and we're down 41-0, I'll still have that positive mindset that we'll win.
Right.
That somehow, some way, a big time team of ours in Argentina. Maybe your audience knows it's called Boca Juniors in Argentina. So we used to go to the top of the stadium, and there's no luxury seats and all that stuff. Like if you put that air conditioning stadium of MetLife in Buenos Aires, forget it. People would love it, as shitty as it is. But we would be all the way at the top watching the soccer matches with our feet dangling on the outside of the roof.
Right.
And just going crazy. Like one bad push, you fall off the top of the stadium.
Yeah.
So one good thing is that my brothers, they came from Argentina, whatnot. They came here, and a friend of my brother's, he's like, hey, look, are you into football? My brother's like, what is that? He's like, there's like this brown egg-shaped ball that they throw, this and that. Check it out. Cool. So he checked it out, and of course, like many, many Jet stories that I hear, Richard Todd was the quarterback.
Yeah.
Chucking the ball crazy. It was fun. If you go back to history, what made the NFL so special was the AFL, not just running. And the Jets stuck to that of just throwing the ball downfield. So little by little, that trickled on with the sack exchange. And again, mind you, I was born in 81. So I was born into this. And I would watch Kenny O'Brien, those late night preseason reruns on Channel 11.
Yep.
And then it was crazy because there was an omen in that, because right after those games, it was Tales from the Dark Side. It should have been like, hey, Dan, pick a new team.
Yeah. Red flags were everywhere.
Red flags were everywhere. So, just watching Ken O'Brien and all that. But one of the big turnaround games for me was in 91. Like that was the first season, and I must have been, I was 10 years old, and just watching every game, like the Hail Mary Green Bay Packer game here in it was Giant Stadium. Ken O'Brien heaves it right before the half. Who catches it? Chris Burkett, an old-time Buffalo Bill wide receiver. Yep. And I was like, holy smokes, this is so much fun. Like anything is unexpected. And then the last game of the season of the 91 was the Jets against, Marino. Yep. Win and you're in. But the biggest heartbreak as a 10-year-old, this is the game that got me into it. And I know it's weird because it's kind of counterintuitive, was the playoff game against the Oilers.
Really?
It was like, oh, we're in the playoffs. We win. We already won 8 games. I didn't know that, 8 games was, not really too good. But I'm like, if we won 8 games, we win another 4 and we win the Super Bowl. So freaking, let's do it.
Yeah.
We lost that game, dude. We lost that game. And it was crazy because the last heave, it was Al Toon was so close to catching that ball.
Yep.
And when he missed it, dude, as a 10-year-old, I cried. Fucking cried. A 10-year-old, like, dude, you take my candy away, I don't give a shit. But this guy, but my 4th oldest brother, because I have 5, he's like, yo, dude, listen, man, listen. You're gonna go through this. He's like, don't cry for this team. Don't cry. Enjoy it. Go through your emotions. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy it. The whole thing. They're gonna suck for years. Save your tears. Right. Save your tears until they win the Super Bowl and then just fucking let it all out. So I've been holding, dude, back these tears since 91, Tyson.
So, they had – it's been a rough ride. So you go – see, it's cool because you have a really good history, and we can talk about a lot of stuff. So then you go from there, you go to the Bruce Coslett era. So, do you start remembering more like, I guess, from like Pete Carroll, Rich Kotite, or when do you remember a lot more detail?
No, Coslett. Coslett was the big one because he came from Cincinnati with Boomer. Yeah. So I started liking the Jets at the tail end of Ken O'Brien's career, and I loved watching Ken O'Brien. Even I shit you not, freaking 7, 8 years old. I enjoyed watching the bombs. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed collecting, football cards. I still have it, stacks of them, mint condition, everything. But full circle, 92, they finally put Brownie Nagel in there. And that game against
the Falcons.
I'm drawing a blank. The first against the Eagles. It was the first preseason game, Hall of Fame game. Dude throws 5 touchdowns. Chucking it. Louisville, they're already naming him like the next Johnny Unitas because he went to Louisville, this and that. I'm like, yeah, this is my guy. This is the next guy. I picked the perfect time to start remembering Jets games. Whoa.
Well, his first game was great. His first game against the Falcons.
Yes. And our kicker, Dan Starinsky or something like that, he missed 4 freaking field goals. We would have won that game, and that's how old we are, right? Like, that was the first inaugural game in Atlanta in that dome. That was the first game, and Bill Parcells was calling that game. And I'm like, wow, man, we got something. And then it all went to shit, dude. That's
cannon too, man. But he couldn't throw a screen pass. Man, he was throwing rockets everywhere. I'm like,
rockets. But again, that goes to show you with the Jets' lineages of coaching staff.
But Dan, this is the really good point though, because like a lot of the newer fans, like when we see certain shit, I go off the rails. And people are like, why are you going off the rails? Because I've seen this before. Like, we have a strong history of like a knowledge bank of bad coaching, bad quarterback play, way to fail quarterbacks, way to fail teams. We know it already. It triggers. So when we see those things, like it just goes like, I know what's coming now. Like, so we know it.
We know it, dude. We know it. Like when we signed Neil O'Donnell, right? Like I remember back in the day, again, we all know, no Twitter, no Instagram, no nothing. I relied on the newspapers. I enjoyed, I don't know if you did this, but I used to like going to the transaction page of the newspaper.
Me too.
And you start looking and seeing if the Jets signed anyone. And I remember coming across Wayne Trebet. And I'm like, who's this guy?
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, it's Kribet. Number 3, Hofstra. You start looking at it. You start going to libraries and shit and start looking up like history books and all that stuff. And you're like, oh shit, this guy's pretty good. He broke a lot of records. And when we signed Neil O'Donnell, I'm like, all right, so the $25 million guy, this is it. This is it.
coming out of a Super Bowl where he tanked it and lost the game for them. But yeah, this is
dude, man. Our wide receivers. Yeah, Cedric Wilson. Nobody remembers this motherfucker. This dude. Like nobody remembers these guys. But like that's why sometimes I think back and forth. I'm like, who was worse, Kotite or Gase? Immediately, I want to say Gase. Like immediately because of what he did to Sam Darnold.
Yep.
But then like we've been through it. We went through the 3-13 and the 1-15 season, and yeah, we didn't have talent. We didn't. We had bits and spurts, but in '97, when Parcells took over, he took that team and made it 9-7.
Yeah, but that's a difference though, Dan, because I think my argument with that is that Parcells inherited a team that had a lot of talent. They had no discipline. They had no accountability. They weren't in shape. They didn't know their ass from their elbow on the playing field. The routes were a mess. Everything was a mess. Parcells cleaned it all up, brought in a couple of those guys. They went 9-7. Adam Gase took a team, removed whatever talent it had, and then ruined the quarterback.
He ruined them. But that's the story of the Jets, right? Like it all boils down to the quarterback. We're waiting for our next Joe Namath. And every time we get someone with a potential, we just ruin them. Like again, let's fast forward to Chad Pennington for a second.
Not even that. Just go like where we're going right now. So you have the Bruce Coslet, then you have the Pete Carroll era too. So they go and they hire him. So you're like, all right, exciting young guy, like all this energy. I loved everything about him, dude. He was so fiery and just he had that like passionate energy this team needed. Like, right? The players loved him. He had all this stuff. They started and it's funny because you mentioned the newspapers because I would read Jets Confidential religiously, dude. Yeah. I couldn't wait till the paper came in because that was all the inside scoop with the Jets. Like when they got Tony Casillas and all these guys, I'm like, oh my God, this right? Like you're just like you're all fired up, man. You're
like, we got a good one.
So Pete Carroll, give me memories of Pete Carroll, man.
Yes, I was a big Rich Cimini fan growing up, right? Because that was my only outlet, right? And he used to work for New York Newsday.
Yep.
And I remember just reading everything. That was my only connection to the Jets to see what's going on behind the scenes. And, when Pete Carroll came along, it brought this new kind of environment of positivity. And I love that because that's where I was used to with, being brought up in Buenos Aires with the soccer teams, just no matter what it is, it's just positive. We're going to beat your ass. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But it was something new. And then, you start studying Pete Carroll and how he was part of the Vikings coaching staff back in the mid-'70s.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm thinking, shit, this guy's young. What was he, like 12 as an assistant coach? He
was young, man. He was definitely young.
Super young. And I loved that season. I enjoyed the 93 and the 94 season. Yes, 93 was Coslet's year. He failed, but that 94 season, they dicked him, man. After that fake spike, you had to have done that.
Yeah, see, the thing is, it's like I was shocked they fired him, but the team did fall apart. After the fake spike game, they completely fell apart. There's no doubt about it. A lot of players mailed it in. There's a lot of bickering. And then the whole him playing basketball with the players, he was two player friendly. He was too buddy with everybody. He was scared to bench people. That's when you had the Brian Washington and James Hasty and all those guys. And right. So then I'm like, all right, like I was shocked they fired him, but I'm like, that's a typical Jets move, dude. You fire a guy after 1 year that was supposed to be the hot shot young coach, So you're like, all right, I will never forget this. I'm laying on the floor, And at that point, I was glued to WFAN. I was on sports radio all day long. Mike and the Mad Dog lived by it, was just a complete junkie. And the Jets fired Pete Carroll. I'm like, what? And I'm like, who the hell are they going to hire? I'm like, what are you going to do? Like, what? I was shocked. And then when I found out who they hired, dude, I was befuddled. I'm like, wait a minute. This is the same coach that got ran out of Philadelphia. They just collapsed in Philadelphia. Like what we're firing Pete Carroll for, we're hiring Rich Kotite off of that. Like the same scenario.
I couldn't believe that because like Kotite was the first coach that I remember looking back up like the football cards, like the pro set cards. It said his first season with Philadelphia was 10-6 and he didn't make the playoffs. So I'm like, this is who you fucking hire. Like, I get it. Like I understand the move because of the 80s. that whole link with Kotite and O'Brien and the Jets and that, but he had to go elsewhere, man. He was like, I'm tired of losing, or
I'm 80 years old. I want to win now.
Come on, man. That's who you get. But those 2 years sucked. But it's, there's little silver linings and whatnot. And again, I was always big on the backup quarterback, right? So like, and again, it's a sad story, right? So Glenn Foley comes in.
Yep.
I think it was in 96. Yeah, 96. And he's playing a good game, I think, against the Colts.
Yep.
And at the end of the game, there's no way that he's winning the game, but he's playing really good. So you're thinking, all right, the rest of the season, trot out 14 before he changed it to number 4. And they hit him. He throws the ball, or he hit him right here. And freaking his rotator cuff gets all messed up. The following day, I go by like the newspapers and whatnot, and dude's like fucking Napoleon shit.
Yep.
And I'm like, fuck.
Yep.
We're back to Neil O'Donnell.
But that was a wrap on Foley, though. He could never stay healthy. Never could stay healthy, unfortunately.
Yes, exactly. But then then Parcells took over, and
but just before we go into that, so Kotite, you agree, was rock bottom for the Jets, dude. That 1-15 season was some of the worst football I've ever seen in my entire life, and we've seen a lot of bad football. That was the team had no identity, no structure, no leadership, no face in the franchise. We had nothing other than Adrian Morrell. I mean, that was it, dude. It was a disaster. So now just talk about Parcells, man. 'Cause that was what a day to be a Jet fan when they announced all that shit. There was some drama getting him done, but when it was finally done, that was remarkable.
Like, you knew that something was up. Like, obviously the year after 97, he changed the uniforms. He was in charge.
Yep. And
just going to Hofstra, like, I was born in Brooklyn, moved to Queens. Long Island to me was the Bermuda Triangle. Like, we never went to Long Island,
right.
But I knew the Jets practiced there, but I didn't know where. So I remember getting a job through my ex-girlfriend, and which actually led me to my career. And I shit you not, it was 700 Stewart Avenue in Garden City, which is 3 minutes away from Hofstra.
That's perfect.
Dude, so I kid you not, dude, hand on the fire. I made my own schedule. I would go there in the morning, watch him practice, go back, work, tell them I got to go to lunch, watch the second practice, and just enjoyed it. I enjoyed every moment of just watching them and like filling my heart with seeing my team, my boyhood dream, just watching them, seeing Parcells, and it became to the point where I don't want to jump too fast forward, but before I forget, I would take my dates there. So this is a funny story. Again, we'll rewind. But I remember taking a chick there. She was from Hauppauge. Again, no idea what the fuck that is. But so we went, and Herman Edwards was the head coach. And I'm showing her around as if I own the fucking university. Mm-hmm. So we're going around the practice facility, and they're practicing adjacent to us. Matt Turk was the punter.
Yep, I remember him.
He shanks the shit out of the ball. Yo, you stay right there.
I got no choice.
What comes landing to me? Everybody just gets out of the way. They thought a grenade was coming. This fucking ball comes to me.
Get out of here.
I catch it. So, obviously, freaking brownie points with this chick. This chick's like, yo, I got the ball. And I'm like, I ain't giving you shit. This is my ball.
Yeah.
But the security guard comes, and he's like, yo, dude, you got to give me back the ball. And I'm like, shit, like, I'm young. So I toss him back the ball. Herman Edwards comes racing. He's like, that's his ball. You give him back that ball. Dude, this is the ball, dude. Matt Turk.
How awesome is that?
How great is that? I almost got her pregnant, but dude, it was amazing. Amazing. It was so out of this world. It's great. But I wanted to throw that in there because Hofstra was my sanctuary. I love going there. I almost got into a car accident with John Hall. I almost hit him like freaking perpendicular. I almost just nailed him by accident. And he's like, yo, where the hell are you going? And I'm like, coming to see you, asshole.
See, but that was fun, it was good. Those were different times. Because, dude, I went all the time. I lived down the Jersey Shore. I would drive 2.5 hours out there to be there 8 o'clock in the morning for the morning practice, watch the morning. I'd go to like down the street to Corvette's bar, have lunch, have a couple beers, and come back for the afternoon. And dude, it was so, and like, I was just fascinated by Parcells, dude. I was so fascinated by him because he was, to me, he was larger than life. I'm like, this guy is a legend. And now we're watching this team. And then to see a guy like Curtis Martin and Kevin Mawae, I'm like, holy shit, like this is real life now. Like, it's just like, I respected like Adrian Morel, all the guys before me. Like this, when Parcells was there, like everything just changed, dude. The demeanor of the team, like you knew they were working their asses off. You know, the practices were physical as hell. They were in full pads, full contact, sometimes twice in the same day. Parcells, if they had a bad practice in the morning, he didn't give a rat's ass. He's like, we're in pads again in the afternoon. We're going to get after it again today. You know, Brian Cox and those guys, dude, it was so awesome. And the thing about Hofstra was really cool, I know you know this, is, dude, you got a lot of access to the players. Like after practice, they come over by the fence, they'd sign autographs. If you walked around the corner where the cafeteria was, you got them there. Yep. And like a guy like Curtis Martin was so classy, dude. Like he would literally, there'd be lines of fans. He'd spend the entire time, boom, boom, boom. Like, you know, like, and the one time a friend of mine took a picture with him, and then Curtis walked away. And my buddy's like, oh shit. He goes, the picture didn't come out. Curtis is like, hold on 1 second. Curtis Martin came back, dude. I took another picture. I'm like, this is like, you know, all pro running back. That's just like so down to earth. Wild, man. So wild.
Monster, man. You nailed it. You know, that's how it was at Hofstra, you know, and, you know, watching all the practices before Parcells, and then when Parcells came in, those high character players, even family night, they were disciplined. Like all of them. And the players, those were the generals on the field, like Curtis Martin, Vinny, Wayne, Keyshawn, Mo Lewis, Marvin Jones, like all these dudes, Victor Green, they wanted to win. They had that mentality, that team first. And we didn't accountable too. They were accountable, and we didn't see that in the past. In the past, we were hoping for the best, and whatever stuck on the wall, we were like, all right, you know, this is it. You know, like when we would get like an Art Monk or Ronnie Lott, we were the nursing home of the NFL. Like
they were chasing names. Even they got Steve Atwater towards the end. But the thing about, you know, what we interviewed Victor Green a couple times, and the thing that he said, he goes, there was legitimate fear in the locker room, fear of not performing to the best of your ability. Because if you didn't, people look at you like, bro, what are you doing? Like, our standard's high here, man. You better get your ass back in the weight room again and finish your reps. Like, they all were like, you were worried to not do the right thing. Because if you didn't do it, not only you have Parcells, Rath, and Belichick and everybody else, the players in the locker room were on your ass. Like, dude, cut the shit. Yeah, absolutely, man. And that's what like turned us on, man. Yeah. That's why, yes, many years have gone by, but I've never felt that confident. Yeah. After that, 98 was amazing, man. I was always confident. Like in 98, I was like, yo, we're killing teams. Like, I can't wait until we face Denver. I cannot wait. Yep. Like, I felt confident. Yes. With Rex, it was fun. Yep. 2009, it was fun because we backed into the playoffs, and then magic happened. Awesome. Yep. Then 2010 happened. It was great, but it wasn't that, you know, I'm imposing my will on you like we had in 98. Yep. And the biggest heartbreaker to me, which I'm pretty sure that you could attest to, it was 99. 99, no one can take it out of my head that that was our Super Bowl. Well, nobody. But just going back to 98 for a second, is you're making a really good point there. Was this team was, you knew when you went on the field that you had probably the better coach team by far. Like, you knew with Parcells, Belichick, and his staff, you had the better, like, that was already an advantage. Right off the bat, you knew we were going to be well coached and well prepared. Right off the bat, every game which helped you win games. But then we were kicking the shit out of people. Like, you walked in and be like, you know what? We should win this game by 10 points. Like as a Jet fan, when was the last time week in and week out and you felt comfortable? Like, you know what, we're gonna whoop this team's ass and like be like not like after like 10 beers, but like, yeah, we're gonna this is like legitimate. Like we had a very, very good team, like one of the best teams in the NFL, easily going into the playoffs.
There were no letdowns. That was the crazy shit about 98.
That one letdown game against the Rams, I think that pissed me off, but
I guess did we?
In 98, that one clunker, I think at one point it was like this. It was such a. I think I bet it or something else. That's why I was pissed. But it was just. But even when they clinched it in Buffalo with the play of Dedrick Ward, it was like this team is magical. Like this team. Like the Jets in the past would find ways to lose. This team was finding ways to win and win by a lot. Like they're finding ways to dominate you, close games out. You didn't have all like the stupid things like dumb penalties, dumb plays until the game against Denver. But then to your point in 99, like that offseason, dude, I could not wait for the start of the next year. I'm like, we're going to the Super Bowl. We're the best team in the NFL. Nothing is stopping us. Like the confidence we had, dude, I'm like, just bring it on. Like I couldn't wait. We couldn't wait, man. I mean, against New England game 1, we all knew we were going to win that game. We knew it. We knew it. We were kicking ass and all that shit. And then when Martin fumbled and Vinny tried his best because, again, Parcells guy, ball's on the floor. Get it.
Stop. Grab that ball. When he laid down there, dude, like everything that I felt and every Jet fan felt, Keyshawn displayed after the game in the press room.
Yep.
Where he just banged on the freaking table. And we were pissed because that was us. But that's why I can't let Parcells off the hook on that one. He's a great coach, Hall of Famer, but he should have known better. Put Ray Lucas as your quarterback.
Rick Meyer was terrible. But the thing was, there was 2 levels about Rick Meyer, and I completely agree. Like I was at that game, dude. So when he went down, I was like, holy shit! Like the stadium was silent, and like it was like like depression. You're like, it's week 1, first half. Our season's over. Like we're done week 1. And then you have like Tom Tupa comes in. But then, like, you had the whole Rick Meyer experience. And I'm a Notre Dame fan, right? So I knew what Rick Meyer was. But I'm like, they played him, and they were playing not to lose. They were playing so freaking conservative. They wouldn't let him. Yeah, exactly, dude.
That's my Rick Meyer jersey, man. I love him.
I remember, like, they played to not lose. They played ultra conservative, and he wasn't playing well. And it was just, like, it was excruciating to watch. Yep. And week by week, I'm like, dude, this is not going to work. Like, and the sad thing was the defense was playing their asses off. Like the Jets were like, even as bad as Myra was, the Jets were still in games. It was just the offense was just so bad.
It's so horrible, man. But once Ray Lucas came in, yes, he lost the game against the Colts in Indianapolis. But he was it. That was the guy. That was the catalyst. Had we won, just maybe a couple of more games, we would have gone into the Super Bowl.
One more game, I think.
No one could take that shit out of my head. Like if we would have gone into the playoffs, 99, we take it. There was no team that was better coached than us, but we were missing. You can tell how important it is to have a quarterback.
Yep.
We ripped through Meyer, Tom Tupa. I think there was another guy there. I can't remember, but again, that's the offseason that we let Glenn Foley go. If he was our backup, we wouldn't have missed a step.
Yep.
I think.
Yeah, I mean it's wild. So then you go from that's the disappointing thing, and then Parcells is like, I'm out of here. Like he retired. I remember because we were at that last game. We're like, one more year. Don't leave us because we know we're still that very good of a team that we're close. Just give us one more year. Obviously he doesn't. The whole bullshit with Belichick. Then you get stuck with Al Groh because nobody wanted the job. Nobody wanted to be in Parcells' shadow. They didn't because he was going to be the general manager. Like, what is he going to be? Is he going to, if you don't do well enough, is he going to come down and take over the job? Is he going to be a pain in the ass in practice? Like, what's that? Is there going to be a power struggle? So it was a tough job for anybody to take, man. Yeah,
I think also, Woody took over. So nobody really knew what kind of owner he was going to be. So do I blame Belichick for stepping down? Hindsight 2020? No.
Nope.
That guy's like, one of the greatest coaches of all time. I can't call him the greatest, because, the NFL has changed over the past 50 years.
Yeah.
The game has been different. Montana winning 4 Super Bowls is different from what Brady did. Yep. Yes, he won 6 Super Bowls, but it was a different era. So you can tell with Belichick, he saw all that. He saw the writing on the wall and whatnot. And he's like, I got a better repertoire with Kraft.
Yep.
And it sucked because so now we're stuck with Al Grove.
Yep.
And did I like him? Yeah, it was fine with me. You know, he continued that Parcells line, but you know, once he was another one. They all couldn't wait to get out of there. There must have been something in the background that they couldn't work for Woody. They couldn't. Something must have been in the background where they're like, we got to get the hell out of here.
Well, he's like, he went to his dream job. He went to Virginia, didn't he? University of Virginia. He went back to his alma mater to coach.
Yep, yeah. He coached the Brickashaw as well.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, but then it was like that's when the Jets start. It's like, all right, now the whole Parcells thing is there. You know, Al Grove comes. You're like, now where are we gonna go? Like, what's the like? Now we're going like we're changing coaches every year. Now it's like, come on, man. Like it's just so
the work. And then Herman comes in, and dude, that I don't know about you, man, but as soon as I heard Herman talk, I'm like, wow, man, this is energy. This is what we need. Like we went from Al Grove to like, you know, not knowing what enthusiasm was.
Yep, he was very stoic.
Yeah, to Herman. And I remember listening to Wayne Crabett after that press conference where they introduced Herman. I think it was on FAN, and he's like, I'm ready to run through a brick wall for this team. Yep. I'm like, I've never heard this. I've never heard this about a player doing this for a coach.
Yep.
And it showed, man. We went to the playoffs that first year in 2001 when we beat the Raiders in the last game of the season. Yep. That was fun. I enjoyed it. But then, you know, with Chad, man, it was, yes, he had a noodle arm. Yeah, he did. But he had something there before the injury.
He did. Yep.
But again, the cheapness of the Jets front office. We had a left guard there. We had Pete Kendall. We had Randy Thomas. I know I'm missing one more guy. And that was the problem in 2003, where Brandon Short runs through by the left guard and just shoves Chad Pennington in preseason. And I don't know how you break your wrist when you're a football player falling like this.
I couldn't understand it either.
You know, I'm like, oh my God, man. And that was the one that we had open in the season against the Redskins on Thursday night. And it was Vinny. Vinny opened it up against Patrick Ramsey.
Yep.
And we lost that
down in Washington. That's when Coles and Randy Thomas and all those guys went to the Redskins.
Everybody went there. And it was bittersweet, but I enjoyed Chad Pennington, man. That was my guy, man. I love him.
He was likable. He loved the Jets. He loved being here. He worked his ass off. He was smart. He was feisty. Like I was talking to Jason last night. I'm like, dude, Chad brought that energy to the field. Like you just felt it, man. Like he wanted to win so bad. He would die for every yard. He'd give you every ounce of his body to find a way to win a football game. And his teammates knew that. Unfortunately, the injuries just took away whatever he had left. I mean, he took a beating sometimes.
You're right, man. I did watch that one with Jason, and you know, the makeup of a quarterback and what you want in a quarterback, that's exactly what you wanted.
Yep.
You wanted that fiery type of quarterback. You don't want a quarterback that's soft, that doesn't say much. I mean, there are very few out there like Eli who just demonstrates it on the field.
Yep.
But you want quarterbacks that have that fire in them, that kind of like being a dick to like, yo, let's level this up, guys. Who cares if we're playing against the Pats? Who cares if we're playing against the Rams? We don't care. It's us against them, and we can beat them. That's the type of quarterback that I think that we might have. I know I'm jumping and fast forward.
But that's the kind of quarterback I think we need, dude. Like this franchise, this fan base, like, dude, we're blue collar, we're passionate, we're a fiery bunch, and it's like you want a quarterback that takes no shit from nobody, dude. I would like last year, kind of like a lot of things about we're jumping forward too, but like last year, a lot of things bothered me. But like I like that Zach Wilson's got a little edge to him. I like that he's got swagger to him. Like, listen, when we had Sanchez, there was some shit Sanchez did. I'm like, that's pretty badass. Like, I like that because we need some of that shit. We can't have like a lot of things with Sam Darnold. His demeanor was terrible. And it's like when you're in a huddle or you're like walking back the huddle and you see your quarterback with his shoulders slouched down, his head down, looking all like dazed and confused. Like, I don't want to fucking play with this guy. Like, if he don't believe in himself, I'm not going to believe in him. right?
Absolutely.
If you see like, and that's why I like Josh Allen so much, or guys like, other guys like that, where you come to huddle, like you can see they're pissed off. Like, dude, we're going to get this shit back. Like, this is unacceptable. And that's where, Chad had that. Sanchez just got overwhelmed and the Jets screwed him over too. But it's just, we need that kind of quarterback, dude.
And I think we might, again, who knows, 5 years ago, we look back at this and maybe I'm wrong, but I think we might have that, man. We might have that where he's also taking it to the next level in the off season. Dude, that dude is fucking bulky, man. Yep. He knows that he's got to, maintain his body there for like 16 weeks, 17 weeks, and he has to be healthy. And the franchise is expecting him to take a leap, not a step. Like, I'm tired of this. Oh, I'm okay if we win 5 or 6 games. I'm sorry, man. It's a different football. You can switch. If your quarterback takes that leap, we can win 10 games. Like, look at our division.
Yeah, but my question before you to go to that though, it's like, wait, where is he starting at? Because to me, it's like he's starting at a pretty low level because he didn't play that well last year. So if he takes a big leap, he's taking a leap to being just an average to decent quarterback because he wasn't really much of anything last year. Is that what you're kind of thinking? Where he's more like game manager, that, or you think he's take a step even bigger than that?
No, bigger, way bigger. Way bigger. The reason why is because towards the end of the season against the Buccaneers, against, yes, the Jaguars, he sucked, but he was taking risks and he was just throwing tightrope. He had that instinct of confidence that you don't see much with Jet quarterbacks of the young kids.
Right.
His interceptions, it was non-existent. He wasn't turning the ball over. He was just gunning it. Even the last touchdown that he threw on the season to Cole on that 4th down.
Mm-hmm.
Gunned it.
Yeah.
He didn't give a shit if it was tipped, whatever. He was just going to throw it. And I think there was a part of that documentary that came out with the Jets about two weeks ago where he showcases, where he breaks down that particular play.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And that just showcases that he's trying to be the student of the game, and he is. And if he takes that major leap, would I like him to be Joe Burrow? Yeah. Is it impossible? No, it's not impossible.
Did you ever have this feeling of Mark Sanchez or no?
You know what threw me back and it grounded me, because I did, but before, when he had that huge turnover game against Buffalo, when here at home, we were just chucking the ball, all that shit. And I think it was in the middle of the season. You didn't know where that season was going. So I want to say yes, but no. Maybe in the 2010 season, I felt very confident with Mark a lot.
I felt confident, but I think his potential, his ceiling is nowhere near as high as Zach Wilson's is, man. Like Sanchez, I think, did a lot of really good things, especially in the playoffs. He was awesome, but I think Zach has the potential to do so much more, and that's maybe I'm just hopeful in my mind, or just based on what we think we know. But don't you think Sanchez we thought could be good? I think if Zach does shit right, he could be great. That's the kind of the difference.
I agree, man. I mean, he has every intangible if you think of it.
Yep. The
smarts, the arm talent, the escapability, that demeanor to lead as well. I'm just hoping that this all comes together, because obviously we've talked about it before. It all starts with him, right?
Yep.
Like, he makes it click. Doesn't matter if the defense is playing lights out, but if Zach can't take that level up, then it's all for shit. But I think he will. I can't wait to play against Baltimore. I cannot wait, Tyson.
All right. So before we go into Baltimore, we'll go back. Let's go back to Sanchez. So how would you define the Rex Ryan era, man? He has the 2 championship game runs. The first one kind of caught us all by surprise. Second one was exciting and 10 times more disappointing against Pittsburgh. That was ridiculously heartbreaking because they didn't show up in the first half. Right. But how would you define the Rex Ryan era as a whole?
It was a roller coaster because it was so much fun. I enjoyed him talking shit. As a sports fan, I enjoy that shit. I'm not one of those, you got to keep it tight-lipped. You have to walk a fine line. Nah, man, this is entertainment. Let's not forget this. We're taking a step out of life.
Yep.
To sit down and watch drama. That's what we're watching.
Absolutely.
And Rex brought it. Hard Knocks, all that shit. Fuck Bill Belichick.
Yep.
This and that, all that. We're going to go there. We're going to run it down your throat. But it wasn't only talk. It was doing it. Like when we went to San Diego and we played the playoff game there, and I believe it was 4th and 1 or 3rd and 1 to seal the game with that handoff to Thomas Jones. And you felt that. Like
they knew it was coming too.
They knew it. He didn't give a shit. He
Yep.
went to it. But unfortunately, that was his demise, right?
Yep.
Like he was always aggressive, and that trickled to the coaching staff being aggressive. Schottenheimer. Then you had Patine.
Yep.
Being
Mike Pettin. Yep.
Pettin. And it showcased against the Steelers. You know, in that playoff AFC Championship game, that drive before the half
drives me insane.
They shouldn't
just run the fucking ball. Just run the ball. Run the ball out. Go to halftime and be like, let's regroup. No reason to pass the ball.
Know that this half didn't work, but it was his aggressiveness where he didn't know how to bite the bullet. He didn't. That was his demise.
Well, I think
I
that,
enjoyed it,
but I think also his player evaluations and the guys they're bringing under him, they were losing the high character, the high football guys, chasing talent, chasing names, and it wasn't working out. And then your heart and soul, your team was departed, and you're bringing guys that don't give two shits about the game of football or the Jets, and then the results suffered, and so did Sanchez.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Like when we didn't re-sign Braylon Edwards, yes, I get it. It was either Braylon or Santonio Holmes. So they let Braylon walk. They signed Santonio, and then we get this convict who shoots himself in the fucking leg.
Plaxico.
And I'm like, all right, this is going well. And then they let go of Cotry and get Derek Mason.
Yep.
And I'm like, all right, in Madden, fantastic.
Yep.
Real life, it showed it. Again, it's something else for a Jet fan to take in, to say, this is not how you build a team. It's not. This is not the way to do it.
Those are guys like Braylon Edwards legitimately loved being here. He loved being with the Jets. He loved the team. And he had a bad rap. Like when they first got him, like, oh, this guy's a clown. Like he's going to be a pain in the ass. He's a diva. He's not this. He's not that. Dude, he worked his ass off. He wanted to come back. Meanwhile, Santonio didn't give two fucks. He wanted his paycheck. And once he got it, he mailed it in. Jericho Cotry was a heart and soul. He was a respected guy on and off the field. You bring another guy, Derek Mason didn't give two shits. It was just like, this is the damage. And this is why when you look forward to what Joe Douglas is doing, that's why you could see, why to play like a Jet, guys that want to be here, it's actually important because you're giving out these big contracts. If these guys start mailing it in, you're stuck with salary cap problems and depth problems. So you go from Rex to Mangini. So talk about that. I'm sorry, Mangini to Rex. So then you go from Rex, and it's like, all right, now when you have a bombastic coach like that, who's so fiery and so crazy, it's like, you gotta get a guy that's either calm or you get a guy, how do you offset Rex? So what'd you think about what they did, man?
Oh, fuck, dude. When they got Bubba Gump, man, as head coach, man, I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me, dude.
Well, but like McCagnon was a disaster too.
Him, Todd Bowles, oh my God, man. You want to talk about Paul Hackett incarnate, in control of your entire team on the field? That was Todd Bowles, man. I can't. I mean, obviously, dude's going to do good in Tampa. Obviously. You know what I mean? Yep. But he sucked. I'm sorry, man. But that 2015 season, that was catching, like a caller said on your interviews, it was like catching lightning in a bottle. We should have won. We should have won against Buffalo. We didn't. Again, the ghosts of being a Jet fucks us. So Rex being the coach of the Bills killed our playoff dreams. But Chad Pennington playing for the Dolphins wins the friggin' division in our turf. And I can't, man.
But see, the one thing is, though, if I'm being completely honest, when they hired McCagnon and Bowles, you're like, all right, you know what? Under Rex, it became a circus. It was a circus. They Idzik and all this other shit. So you got to get. So at this point, you're bringing in respected football guys that have very good resumes, but unfortunately, they went about hiring the wrong way, hiring the coach for the general manager, kind of like making a marriage. It wasn't like it was just weird. So, but Bowles is a respected guy, the nice guy. They hit lightning in the bottle with Fitzpatrick, but it was like, dude, I'm telling you, dude, there's moments in 2015 before you even get in the Buffalo. I'm like, this coach is way too conservative. I'm like, this isn't winning football. They're just getting lucky. Like they did shit, but I'm like, all right, first year head coach, maybe he's finding his way a little bit. But there was just things you could see, dude, like his nature. You're like, dude, if you're punting on 4th and 6 on your own 40 with 2 minutes left in the game, you're out of your mind. Like that's basic football instinct that you don't have. You know what I mean?
Right. Like the omen of the 2015 season was the season didn't even start yet, and Geno Smith got his jaw broken.
I couldn't believe it.
Oh, only this. Only us. Only us. I'm like, this. Are you serious? Geno with the fucking with the jaw, Darnold with the mono. Like, come on, man. I don't get this. What other venereal disease? Hopefully Zach is going to be cool. I hope he's all right. You know what I mean?
So we go through the Todd Bowles era, which the whole Fitzpatrick thing was bullshit. It was exhausting, man. Like it's unfortunate, but you get Sam Darnold. So, at that point, I remember talking to you about this shit. So the Jets trade up, number 3 pick, whatever, and they want to get their quarterback. I thought it was going to be Mayfield. I really did. I thought Darnold would already be gone at that point. Yeah. But I think, and I think as Jet fans, we were all excited. Like, you know what? We have a highly touted prospect, West Coast kid, but this kid's got talent. Probably more talent than Sanchez had, more talent than most guys we've had here. All we got to do is fine tune it, build it around him, and we'll be fine.
All we got to do. It's all we got to do, right? It's all we got to do. And what did we do? Dude, we sent him to the gallows, man. Like young kid. We're like, oh, you got some talent? We're gonna fuck you up now.
We're gonna take away weapons. We're gonna keep changing coordinators, and we're gonna let you get hit a lot.
Oh my god, man! I couldn't believe when we hired Adam Gase. You have no idea, like this carousel of coaching staffs and all that. And I'm like, wait, like I don't like Woody Johnson, but he's across the seas. Call this dude back because his brother sucks.
So wait,
how do you hire?
Who did Adam you want?
How do you hire him? Who did you want?
Who did you want? Did you want McCarthy or did you want Rule? Who did you want?
No, I wanted McCarthy. I wanted him. Like my plan B was Rule because I had no idea who he was.
Right.
But I'd rather go with the unknown than this rotten scumbag. Yeah. Like there was no way that Gase was. But again, now we're looking back and all right, there's a silver lining.
Wait, before we go to silver lining though, just tell me. I'll never forget this, dude, because. Like, I'm a psycho like you are, dude. Like, and I'm like, when they hired him, I was out of my mind. I couldn't make enough videos. I was doing shows by myself. I was so pissed off. And I'm like, dude, all right.
I was in the kitchen. I was right upstairs. And I'm hearing this. I'm watching on Twitter and they're like, oh, Jets hired a new coach. We were on Twitter all day for like good 3-4 weeks. Oh, we hired a coach. And it seems like it's Adam Gase. And I'm like, nah, they're fucking us. There's no way. Yep. Like, there's no way, right?
I believe it.
You better believe it. We hired a freaking Kotite. This guy, we're going to hire him. When the news came out, I shut off the phone. I put my head down. And I'm like, all right, get ready. Get ready because I know what's coming in the next 4 days. Like, I'm talking to myself. And I'm like, you're going to go on YouTube. You're going to try to rationalize this shit.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to try to think that they did him dirty in Miami. And knowing the way how you are, Dan, like you know it, you're going to try to prove everyone wrong that they got it wrong.
Yep.
And I'm like, I need psychological help at this point.
Well, I remember because we were doing shows. I was fighting with everybody. I'm like, save me your bullshit. I'm like, we got to I don't want to hear about he's a offensive this and offensive that. So, but like you, dude, as Jet fans, like, you know what? You had to calm down. You're like, he's our coach now. So no matter how much we bitch, moan, complain, and burn shit, not going to change. So I'm like, let me just watch the press conference.
Why not?
Let's just watch the press conference. Maybe he can inspire us like Herman Edwards did, like, you know, how Rex Ryan did. Like, maybe he's going to come talk to us Jet fans and make us feel a lot better about a hire that we know is terrible. Dan, I was like, I'm sitting here. I'm like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. I'm like, this guy's racked out of his mind right now. And I'm like, this is like, how does, like, I'll never, like, what I don't understand, like, if you're owners of $1 billion organization and you're putting your prized possession quarterback in the hands of this guy and you're watching him in a press conference cracked out of his fucking mind, and you're not one, I would have fired him then. Like, you know what? This ain't gonna work. Like, you're fired today, man. Like, you're out. Like, you clearly got a problem. Like, we can't have this. Like, I was mortified.
I couldn't believe it. I'm like, you know, and listening to Joe Benigno and Evan Roberts, they saw it right through. They're like, this is the fucking guy we got. This guy's, his head is all over. His eyes are like ophthalmologists are like, they can't wait to get a hand on, like, their hands on him, you know? And I'm like, oh my God, this is not good. Like, there's no way. And now the draft is coming, and this is not going well. And I remember that draft because he was the only one in the war room. Oh no, it was only McCagnon, right?
Yeah,
in the war room.
He wouldn't sit next to him.
Yeah, it was the weirdest shit.
Yep.
And I'm like, this is where football's going. Where did it come from?
I was just like, I couldn't take it, dude. I couldn't take it. Like, I was just like there was nothing about it you could support. You could like nobody liked him. Like, we didn't like him. The players didn't like him. The media hate him because he was a prick to the media. Like, it was a disaster. Like, and you knew it. You knew it. Like, just It was. We couldn't believe it. We were like, all right, you know what? All right, we got to suck it up. Who knows? And you're just trying to rationalize shit because then training camp is coming. Yep. Then the first game of the season came. We're playing against the Bills. Yep.
And Sam is chucking 2-point conversions up to Le'Veon Bell. And I'm like, fuck yeah, man. Yep. I was right about Adam Gase.
Yep.
And that was Josh Allen's breakout game as well because he came back and
C.J. Mosley got hurt.
C.J. Mosley got hurt, was playing, had the game of his life. Oh my God, that sucked, man. That really did. Oh yeah, Vedvik missed like 9 field goals.
Yep. The big sensation, the punter kicker.
But again, no surprise.
No.
Like, from the beginning of this interview to now, there was no surprise. Like, we knew this, Tyson. We knew it. All right, nothing new. We're losing this game. We're gonna lose it. We're gonna lose it. Take it. We're losing it. Okay. All right. And that's not my mentality. That's what bothers me so much of this sadistic franchise. It's not me. Like, I'm very positive. I'm like, we're gonna win. We're gonna win. But I'm like, I see this pattern. I see it. I see it. You're gonna fucking lose. And we did.
And that's what, you know, and then you had the Gase thing where at that point, I think by the time Gase was done, he destroyed Sam Darnold. I know when people are like, do we trade him? Do we not trade him? And I was pretty adamant. I'm like, to me, he was damaged goods. I'm like, this kid is dazed. He's confused. He's battered. He's beaten. He's lost all his confidence. And we can't afford to take another chance on him because you're just delaying. To me, you're delaying the inevitable. I'm like, cut ties now, new coach, new quarterback, and let's start over again. A true reset, unfortunately, but that's just where it was. Did you agree with them trading him, or did you want to give him another chance?
You know, I went back and forth, right? Like, we had so much draft capital that could have been more, right? Yeah. Like, if San Fran gave up that much to move up to 3, imagine how much more they would have gave up to go to 2. But what good would that be if we had no franchise quarterback?
Yep.
Darnold was over for him. Yeah, he got a bad break, but we had, that was one opportunity that you can't give up. You can't say, all right, you know what? This isn't an Achilles Smith coming out. This isn't, you know, a Cade McNown. This isn't like these quarterbacks that you don't know about.
Yeah.
This kid had intangibles that they waited. That's what made Joe Douglas, to me, like that GM that took a step up to say, you know what? Yes, we got Sam Darnold. He's going into year 4. I think year 4, right? And this was going to be his
they got to pick up his option too.
Yeah, and he's like, no,
Panthers did. Yep.
let's start fresh. We got a new head coach. We got a new philosophy, a new style. We got a kid that's spunky. Let's build around him. And I got to give him kudos. It sucked for us as Jet fans because we buy all this fucking paraphernalia and shit, and then all of a sudden, thanks. Thanks a lot, guys.
I got fucking Jamal. I got Jamal Adams shit all over the place in there. It's just like,
everywhere. We love that. We love Jamal. We love them. But that's what a good GM like Joe Douglas is. Like when he got hired, I remember calling the show, and I get it at that point. But like when he made a trade to get Demaryius Thomas, right? He called the Pats. Yes, he was going to get cut anyway. But Joe was trying to showcase to the fans, this is going to be different. We're not putting a wall with like other teams. If I need a player, I don't care if he's the enemy. Yep. I'm going to call him. I'm going to make this trade. Same thing with the Giants.
Yep.
Called them up, fleeced them. That was his first fleece. Mm-hmm. Getting so much for Leonard Williams.
Yep.
And I think that kind of helped him because he was new, right?
Yep.
So he didn't know much about pick up the phone. Maybe he did, but it was his practice experience. Why not go to the enemy's nest and pick up a phone and say, hey, let's build a relationship. This is business.
Yep.
And I enjoyed that. I like that. And fast forward to now, he's building a monster of a team, man. Like this past draft to get Breece Hall. No one had Breece Hall falling to the Jets. And mind you, trading up to get him. Nobody. I did.
Nobody. Before you go to that, nobody had Jermaine Johnson going where he was going. I thought Jermaine Johnson was going top 10. I was literally having a shit fit, dude, after Garrett Wilson. I'm like, where the fuck is our pass rusher coming from now? Let me guess. I'm like, now your cynical Jet fan kicks in. Like, let me guess. We're going to draft some fucking guy in the third round and tell me he's a savior. And here we go again. Like Ja'Kai Polite version 5.0. You know what I mean? Like this other shit.
Exactly.
Never in a million years I thought we'd get Jermaine Johnson.
Oh my God. That draft night was wicked, man. It was fun because we got Sauce. I'm like, all right, you know what? Best cornerback in the draft. You cannot pass him up.
Right.
Texans wanted to get Stingley. They took a chance on that. All right. But you could see, in that documentary how that was their guy. Yep. Like as a franchise and a fan of a franchise, you get elated to see that they're hyped up about that player as well.
Yep.
But then when it dropped to 10, I'm like, all right, I guess we might trade for Debo. AJ Brown was my dude.
Yep.
I'm like, all right, I could live with that. But where's our pass rusher? Like again, I guess we're one of very few franchises that we haven't had a pure pass rusher in a while. And I don't want to repeat myself in other callers, but last true pass rusher was John Abraham.
Yep.
That's it. Like where you're watching and you see him like slide around the left tackle or right tackle, boom, sack. Yep. We haven't seen that. And my hopes were high with Carl Lawson.
Yep.
And then that shit happened last year. Total Jets. Totally.
I was depressed for like 3 days, man. I was literally depressed for 3 days. Literally, I didn't want to talk to nobody. Like I would get text messages. My response is like, "Fuck off." Like that's literally like my text. Like I was giving back like emoji fingers and like I was like, I don't want to talk to nobody. Like I'm so tired of like our prized possession going down. I was demoralized. Truly,
I couldn't believe it. I could not believe that shit. But other than that, and then when we finally land him, Jermaine Johnson kept dropping. And I'm like, obviously, cynical Jet fan, you're like, what's wrong with him?
Yeah.
Like is he like how Nakobe Dean dropped and shit? You're like, is there something that we don't know? But
injury issue or some kind of shit. Yeah.
Yeah. Nothing. There's nothing. The Jets really wanted him, and he really wanted the Jets.
Yep. And
that speaks volumes of what Joe Douglas said when he picked up the phone to call him to tell him, yo, you're going to be a Jet. He said, yo, dude, like if you're up there, come get me. He did it. That's huge. Like as a Jet fan, like you're like, shit, fuck yeah.
Yep.
That's what I want for my GM. Let's do it. 3 first-rounders. I look at it as 4. Yeah. I know we had the 2004 4 first-rounders. I look at this as 4 first-round picks. Breece Hall could have easily been drafted later in the first round.
Yep.
And we got this dude. I'm like, wow, man. Again, this guy's assembling a team not for 3 years down the road to be studs or whatnot. Right now.
Yep.
Right now, it could be the building block. We could surprise a lot of teams. And it's a big-time draft, man. And
what I like most is too is that you see the chemistry between Solid and Douglas. Like they're a united front, dude. Like they're both emotionally invested, but they're on the same page. They want the same guys. Like the energy they have when they get their guys, it's literally their guys. It's not like, it's not like Joe Douglas got it. So I was like, all right, you got your dude. Like they were like fired up about like, this is our draft board we all agree upon. This is our mission. These are our goals. Let's get after it and do it. And that's exactly what they did. And that makes you feel better too, man, where you're like, dude, this actually may be a competent organization for the ones in for forever, where they have a blueprint. Like you could see what Joe Douglas' vision is, dude. Like you could see he wanted to add depth all across the board, but he wants young players, explosive players, and the contracts he gives out are all financially responsible.
Yes.
He may pay you well, but you're going to earn that money because in 2 years you could be gone. Like Corey Davis, Carl Lawson, all these guys. He structures it where it's like, listen, we're going to give you the money, but if you don't get what we want in a couple of years, you're out and next man up. And he's building depth too. Like the depth they have now is just for like, it's funny because like we're excited about it because our roster's been so fucking bad for so long that we have a glimmer of depth. We're doing cartwheels about it, but this is the way an NFL team actually should be. We're just not used to seeing it.
No, we're not. I mean, how many years were we clamoring for the hierarchy to change? Yep. Like we don't want the coach bypassing the GM talking to the owner.
Yep.
Like we all know that, like as businessmen.
Yes.
Shit, if you have a store or whatnot, like you're the manager, you want the guys underneath you to speak to you, and then you can relay it to the boss.
Yep.
Shit, you got these guys that just started going like, all right, fuck you, whatever. I'm talking to the boss. Like, whoa, there's a problem. And Woody never saw it. And that's where the silver lining comes out with the whole entire Gase thing.
Yep.
Like if those 2 years, if we had to suck it up for those 2 years because of Joe Douglas and the potential of bringing a Super Bowl here, dude, I'm getting Gase's freaking face tattooed like right here, like right there, his eyes. That's his eyes. That's it. Good.
Taco going around it.
Absolutely.
So we're excited about the draft. We're excited about the free agent class, which I thought was phenomenal too, because this is going back to the conversation we had before. It's these guys love the game of football, man. Like I'm telling you, like you watch Flight 2022, every player had the same message. I want to work as hard as possible. This is about getting the most out of us. Like it's like watch film, work hard, find ways to win. Like they are all from top to bottom motivated. And when you hear like there's like 2 quotes that really got me. It was Jordan Whitehead, who's coming from the Buccaneers, dude. That's a Super Bowl team. Like that's a team that's winning with Tom Brady. He's like the work ethic here from these young guys is remarkable. Like he's like the young guys are impressing the veterans because they're training so hard and they want it so bad. That's how you change your culture. I mean, like how can you not be excited hearing that when you have guys say like this young Jets team, they want it, man. They're getting after it, and now it motivates everybody, dude. The veterans everybody's gonna compete harder. And the results are going to translate. And like to me, like you said it earlier, where it's like, listen, I expect Zach to play much better this year, but I expect 7 wins, dude, at least. Seriously, that's where it starts there. Like anything less than that, unless like God forbid, like Zach and Mike White, like the quarterback falls apart or something like that. But like, dude, this team has to be competitive because there's no more excuses now. Like they have talent, and other teams turning around in 2 years, 3 years. You've seen, right? Every year there's a team in the NFL that comes around like, holy shit, where'd they come from? 2 years ago, 2 years ago they sucked, and here they are. The Jets could be the same way, dude.
Again, to me, the Bengals were the blueprint. Like as soon as I saw them beat the Chiefs, I didn't have them beating the Chiefs. I'm sorry. There's no way. But when they did it, I didn't give a shit that they were in the Super Bowl. Just beating them and going there in Burrow's second year gave me hope. Where yes, it might be a fairy tale to most. It's a Cinderella story. Is it really? Like think about it. They got 2 outstanding wide receivers. They got a stud of a quarterback. Good offensive line.
Joe Mixon.
Defense wild. Isn't it something similar? Kind of what we're doing right now.
It's on Zach, dude. Because what the Jets have done successfully is they put in playmakers all over the field now. I mean, we are, and this isn't being like I keep saying, it's like we're not being biased Jet fans. Like they legitimately have wide receivers that can, you have Elijah Moore, Garrett Wilson, Corey Davis, Braxton Berrios, all Then you have tight ends that can do some things, and you have running backs coming out of the backfield that can do things. It's just all on Zach, dude. Like we talked about how the Jets failed Darnold, how they screwed Sanchez over, all these different stories. Right now, the story is completely opposite. The Joe Douglas said, "Here you go, kid. Here are all your toys. You have a fucking plethora of them. Find ways to score points."
Dude, I couldn't concur more, man. You're 100% right, because that's it. This is it. And the beauty of this whole entire thing, this picture that you painted, is that Zach knows this.
Yep.
Zach sees it.
Yep.
And like before we saw him, right? Before we saw the documentary and all that shit, we're hoping that he gets it, right? But when you see him, that he's put in the work, bulked up, nutritionist, the whole thing, he's like, I get it.
Yep.
All these gears go through me. And he's doing it. Now, again, hopefully he's healthy. The whole thing is good. But if he reaches that certain potential this year, which I'm a positive Jet fan.
Too. Yep.
He will. And that's why I can't wait for game 1. Like I look at our division, and you have games there that are winnable. Miami, what do they got?
Yep.
What, Tua? Please, enough.
He's got questions about him too. Yep.
Yeah, dude, he throws like freaking 3-yard bombs. And then you got the only one that scares me are the Bills. Why? Because they were built to win. They were built the right way.
Yep.
Now, last year that was all Belichick with the Patriots. Smoke and mirrors. And I mean, the irony, obviously, it's Belichick is a great coach.
Yep.
Do I think the world of Mac Jones? Not really. But again, I've been wrong about quarterbacks, but they're winnable. Yep. Those are 4 games that are winnable right there. Not saying that we'll sweep them, this and that, but then you go against the Bills. You never know what kind of momentum we're having going into a game against the Bills. Shit happens. You got to be competitive. Joe is building this roster to win football games right now, to be competitive right now, just like the Bengals were, just like the Rams were, 2 years ago leading up to now. These are franchises that it's scarce to get GMs like this to say, yo, we can change this shit. We can do it. We just got to be a little aggressive but smart before we pull the trigger. We can do this. But everybody's got to be on board. And that's the good thing about having that chemistry between Saleh and Joe. They see eye to eye. They see where this project can lead to. So I'm excited, man.
It's like it reminds me of like when the kind of guys that Mangini was bringing in, man, where he was bringing in like the team captains, the leaders, the football junkies, all those guys. Like that's how you truly change things, and that's how you have sustained success. Because like it's a program. I'm so excited about this because like these guys are all growing together. It's not like you have like one 7-year player, one 5th-year player, one 3rd-year player. Dude, they're all like first year, 2nd-year players. They're all going together, and that's Zach with his guys. Like all these young receivers are growing together with Zach. The backfield, Michael Carter, Breece Hall, they're all growing together with him, dude. You cannot ask for a better scenario. This is how other teams have grown, and it's like and it's not with free agency. This is with draft picks. That's what makes it even better.
And we still have money. We still have capital. That's the crazy shit. Like I was all for, dude, break the bank, man. Just go trade for AJ Brown. Like that was my guy. I wanted him or DK Metcalf, whatever the case is, but he had other ideas. And again, I look at someone like Wilson, the wide receiver, and I'm like, this guy has leaping ability. He could be a game changer. Hopefully it turns out that way. But I'm enjoying this entire process, man. I think we have so much to look forward to. There's so much excitement. July is here. Training camp is at the end of the month or in the middle?
Yeah, 3 weeks away.
I can't wait, man. Like, I mean, I went to their training facility years ago. I didn't like that it wasn't like Hofstra where you just pop in. You need tickets, you need this, you need And I'm like, I don't need that shit, man. You know what I mean? Like I want to, I really do.
Yeah.
But if that's what it is,
It's very
I'm like,
commercial, man. Yeah, it's not
too much, man. And I'm like, I can't do that. It's too far of a ride. Like, I wish they had something here or somewhere midway, from Jersey to here, from Long Island to the city, in which we had it. We had that stadium. It was all set. But Adam Silver had to be no, it was the Silver guy. I keep forgetting it.
Yeah.
You're right, though. He was the asshole. Yeah, it is what it is.
So there's a lot of excitement about the team. We agree that they should be a lot more competitive. I mean, I can't wait to training camp, dude. Like, just get everybody back, get them healthy, and let's roll. So if somebody asked you, okay, Dan, tell me your life as a Jets fan. How would you summarize your life as a Jets fan altogether? Like, what would be your summary?
To me, man, passion, man. I don't give a shit that we got losing seasons and all that shit. I couldn't care less. It's part of the ride. You got to go through these things, and it's not only being a Jet fan; it's about being part of life. You got to learn to dance in the storm, man, because that sunny day you'll enjoy it that much more. When the Jets finally win that Super Bowl, which I know it's coming, dude, we're gonna see it in our lifetime. Bank it, dude. Bank it. It's gonna be that much sweeter.
Oh, I can't
Think about it. Like, you see all these other teams. You and I, we know who the Patriots were before Brady. We knew that their quarterbacks, they sucked. Hugh Millen, Scott Zolak.
Yep.
No one ever expected them to reach, 8 Super Bowls? The most that they had going with them was, Steve Grogan.
Yeah.
That's it. Tony Eason. That's it. Shit changes. And you can only be bad for so long. The Saints, the Aints, they sucked.
Look at the Eagles. The Eagles were a disaster for a while.
Dude, our time's coming. And that's how I would summarize it. It's every Jet fan out there. Just continue being loyal, and you're always going to be loyal no matter what. But enjoy the ride, even if they suck. If you rock bottom, it can't get worse than Gase and Kotite. Can't.
It can't. It really can't.
The only way that it'll be worse is 0-17. That's the worst. I don't see it. But shit, we've gone through so much. We'd probably be 0-17 and still select 2 overall.
Yeah. We lose a tiebreaker.
Exactly. You know what I mean?
Shit.
But anyway, that's how it is, man.
So, Dan, before I let you go, where can everybody follow you, man, if they want to find you on social media?
Yeah, New York Jets Dan on Twitter, Instagram. Definitely feel free, for a follow. I'll follow you back. It's all good. And I got to say, Tyson, keep doing the great job, man. You, Kevin, you guys really give a certain outlet to all of us fans. And, because it's a long way from Sunday to Sunday. And all of us, we all have our niches and whatnot, how to kill time and whatnot. And we think about certain things, how to say it, how to articulate. And there was no outlet. But you guys, your show provides that. You guys allow us to speak our mind. You guys never cut in. And obviously, you guys never do it personal. There's nothing personal. I remember getting an argument with you before you had YouTube, and it was, you said something that it got under my skin, and I'm like, I'll fucking show him. And then you're like, yo, dude, just chill out, man. It's just a show. And I'm like, okay.
We've had some arguments over the years, man.
It's fun, man.
I love talking to you, man.
Yeah, man.
But this is what it's all about, though, man. It's like all of us fans hanging out. Like, I can't wait to tailgate with you, have some beers and tailgate. And when the hell am I coming to your man cave, too, man? What the fuck's up with that?
This year, without a doubt, man, this man cave is waiting for you guys, man, to come through. I can't wait to barbecue for you guys, give you some Argentinian asado, man. You guys will love it, man.
Well, Dan,
absolutely.
Thank you for joining me, man. I appreciate it. Have a great holiday weekend, and I'll talk to you later on.
Likewise, man. God bless. Be safe. Keep up the great job, man.
Later, dude.